The world shrank to the inside of my skull. 1 second, I was Dr. Aris Thorne, standing in my lab, the hum of servers a familiar comfort, the holographic display showing neural pathways lighting up with simulated activity, the culmination of years of work on the Thorne interface, a breakthrough in direct brain-computer communication for neurological repair. The next, a searing pain, a metallic tang on my tongue, and then nothing but the silent scream of a mind trapped in inert flesh. I woke to a sterile white ceiling, the faint smell of antiseptic, and the terrifying realization that I could not move a muscle. Not a finger, not a toe, not even turn my head. My eyes, thankfully, could still track the slow sweep of a clock hand on the wall. I was a prisoner in my own body, a statue of flesh and bone. Panic, cold and absolute, clawed at my mind. I tried to call out, tried to signal, tried to do something, anything. Only silence answered. Days bled into an indistinguishable blur. Doctors came and went, their faces a parade of grim sympathy. I heard snippets of their conversations. Neurotoxin, unprecedented, no known antidote, complete neuromuscular blockade. They spoke of my work, my research, my potential legacy, all in the past tense. My life's purpose snatched away in an instant. The Thorne interface, designed to heal paralysis, had been rendered useless by the very state it was meant to cure. The irony was a bitter poison in my silent world. Then came the visits. Elias Vance, my assistant, looking pale and shaken, mumbling condolences. He seemed genuinely distressed, but there was a flicker in his eyes I couldn't quite decipher, a nervousness that went beyond grief. And Silas Vane. Dr. Silas Vane, my closest rival in the corporate research division, a man whose ambition was thinly veiled behind a veneer of professional courtesy. He visited once, offering smooth words of sympathy, his gaze lingering on the monitors displaying my flatlined neural activity. His smile didn't reach his eyes. It felt predatory. My mind, however, remained sharp, perhaps even sharper in its forced isolation. With nothing else to do, I retreated inward, replaying the moments before the attack, the strange metallic taste. Elias had brought me a coffee just minutes before. Had he? No, it was unthinkable. Elias? My trusted assistant? But the timing was too perfect. And Silas? He had the motive. My breakthrough meant his research would be obsolete, his path to the coveted lead position blocked. The pieces began to fall into place, forming a horrifying mosaic of calculated betrayal. They moved me eventually, not to a long-term care facility, but deeper within the corporate compound, to the experimental neuro-recovery unit. It was a state-of-the-art wing, hushed and gleaming, staffed by specialists. This is where I met Dr. Lena Hansen. Lena wasn't like the others. She didn't look at me with pity. She looked at me with intense, focused concentration, as if I were a complex puzzle she was eager to solve. She was the lead technical specialist for the Thorne Interface Recovery Program, a cruel twist of fate, that my own creation was now my only hope. Dr. Thorne, she said, her voice calm and steady, my name is Lena Hansen. We're going to work together. We're going to use your interface to try and re-establish communication with your body. It's experimental, but if anyone can do it, it's you. You built this technology. She explained the process. A refined version of the interface would be implanted, linking my conscious thought directly to a computer system. The first step was simply learning to control the cursor on a screen, using only directed thought interpreted through subtle neural signals. Then, communication, spelling out words, conveying needs, expressing thoughts. After that, if possible, attempting to bypass the damaged neural pathways and send signals to my muscles mediated by the interface. It was a long, arduous road, paved with uncertainty. The early days were maddening. Hours spent focusing, trying to make the cursor move, achieving only frustrating random twitches on the screen. Lena was endlessly patient. She would sit with me, monitoring the readouts, offering quiet encouragement. Just focus, Dr. Thorne. Imagine the cursor moving left, now right. Her presence was a lifeline in my silent, static world. Slowly, painstakingly, I began to gain control. A flicker of the cursor, then deliberate movement. Spelling out my first word, not a profound philosophical statement, but simply water. Lena's smile when I managed it was the most beautiful thing I had seen in months. As my ability to communicate grew, so did my capacity to observe and investigate. The interface, designed for complex data processing, could be adapted. With Lena's help and her growing trust in my suspicions, we began to probe the corporate network. accessing my own project files, reviewing security logs, cross-referencing visitor records. The evidence was subtle at first. A discrepancy in the lab access log the day of the attack. A small, unauthorized transfer of funds from a project account. Elias's communication logs showing frequent, coded interactions with an untraceable number. And then the chilling confirmation, a deleted email fragment, recovered from a backup server, detailing a plan to neutralize Aris Thorne and acquire his research, signed with initials I recognized, SV and EV, Silas Vane and Elias Vance. The betrayal was real, and it cut deeper than the paralysis. My anger, once a silent inferno, now had a target. They hadn't just taken my mobility, they had tried to steal my legacy, my identity, everything I had worked for. But they had underestimated the power of the mind, especially a mind connected directly to the digital realm. We needed help. Lena, though brilliant and loyal, was just a technical specialist. We needed someone with authority, someone who could operate outside the immediate corporate structure that Vane and Vance might have compromised. I instructed Lena to contact Dr. Evelyn Reed, my old mentor, a woman known for her unwavering integrity and influence in the scientific community. Lena hesitated, worried about the risk, but my grim determination convinced her. Dr. Reed was shocked by my communication, even more so by my allegations. She initiated an external inquiry, leveraging her contacts. This is how Agent Jian Li, a corporate security investigator known for his quiet persistence and ethical approach, became involved. Agent Li was initially skeptical, a paralyzed scientist claiming corporate espionage and attempted murder via brain-computer interface. It sounded like science fiction, but I provided him with the initial digital breadcrumbs we had found, the log discrepancies, the recovered email fragment. Lena vouched for my mental acuity and the integrity of the interface data. Lee, thorough and methodical, began his own parallel investigation, working carefully to avoid alerting Vane and Vance. While the investigation unfolded, my physical therapy continued. It was brutal, frustrating work, using the interface to send signals to dormant muscles, feeling only phantom sensations or painful spasms. Na, the physical therapist, a woman whose intensity matched her skill, pushed me relentlessly. Focus, Dr. Thorne. Imagine the signal reaching your hand. Feel the connection. Slowly, agonizingly, I started to see results. A twitch in my finger, the ability to weakly clench my fist. The feeling, after months of numbness, was overwhelming. A mix of pain and exhilarating possibility. The villains, meanwhile, were getting nervous. They sensed the walls closing in. Access to my unit tightened. Elias stopped visiting altogether. Silas's presence in the facility became more frequent, his questions to Lena about my progress subtly probing. They tried to isolate me further, claiming my delusions were a side effect of my condition, attempting to discredit my communications via the interface. But Agent Lee was already deep in their digital footprint, uncovering more damning evidence. Communications detailing the purchase of the specific neurotoxin, financial records showing payments to offshore accounts, plans to dismantle my research team and absorb my patents. The tension inside the facility was palpable. Lena was constantly vigilant, ensuring the integrity of my interface connection and my physical safety. Agent Lee worked against the clock, knowing Vane and Vance might make a move to silence me permanently if they felt truly cornered. Our plan coalesced around a scheduled corporate review meeting, a high-profile event where Vane was set to present his progress on the neural interface project, my project. This was our opportunity. Dr. Reed used her influence to ensure my attendance, ostensibly via a video link showing my stable but incapacitated state. The day of the review arrived. I was wheeled into a secure room overlooking the main auditorium, connected to a large display screen on the stage. My body was still weak, my movements limited, but I had regained enough control to operate a sophisticated mobility chair and use the interface with a fluency I had only dreamed of months ago. Lena was with me, ensuring everything ran smoothly. Agent Lee and his team were positioned discreetly within the auditorium. Silas Vane took the stage, charismatic and confident, presenting slides filled with stolen data and false claims. He spoke of his vision, his progress. Elias Vance sat in the front row, looking pale but composed. Then it was my turn. The camera feed switched to me. The auditorium fell silent. I could see the shock on Silas's face, the flicker of fear in Elias's eyes. I wasn't supposed to be this aware, this functional. "Good morning," I said, my voice slightly synthesized by the interface, but clear and steady. "Dr. Vane's presentation is impressive, especially considering it's based entirely on stolen research and facilitated by an act of attempted murder." A gasp swept through the room. Silas blanched. Elias shifted nervously. "For months," I continued, controlling the display on the main screen, replacing Silas's slides with my own, pulled directly from the evidence Agent Lee and I had compiled, "I have been a prisoner in my own body, thanks to a neurotoxin administered by my assistant, Elias Vance, at the direction of Dr. Silas Vane." I displayed the recovered email fragment, the log discrepancies, the financial transactions, the communications detailing their plot. The evidence was irrefutable, laid bare for the entire corporate leadership and assembled media. Dr. Reed had ensured their presence to see. They intended to steal my work, claim credit for my breakthrough, and leave me to fade away, I stated, my voice gaining strength fueled by righteous anger. They underestimated the Thorn interface. They underestimated the human mind, and they underestimated the people who stood by me. As I finished, Agent Lee's team moved in, apprehending a stunned Silas Vane and a trembling Elias Vance directly on the auditorium floor. The room erupted in chaos. The aftermath was swift. The evidence was overwhelming. Silas Vane and Elias Vance faced criminal charges for attempted murder, conspiracy, and corporate espionage. The legal process was grueling, but the proof was undeniable. They were both found guilty and received lengthy prison sentences, their careers and reputations utterly destroyed. The corporation, eager to distance itself from the scandal and protect its image, settled quickly, ensuring my continued care and the rightful ownership of my research. My recovery was far from over. I still required significant physical therapy and relied on the neural interface for certain complex movements and fine motor control. I wasn't the same physically as I was before the attack, but I was free from my physical prison, free from the shadow of their betrayal. Lena remained by my side. She had seen me at my most vulnerable, witnessed my struggle, and celebrated my smallest victories. Our shared ordeal had forged a bond stronger than steel. She wasn't just my technical specialist, she was my confidant, my partner, my hope. With the legal battles behind me, I focused on my rehabilitation and, eventually, reclaiming my research. The Thorn interface, once a tool of my own recovery, became my renewed passion. I dedicated my work to helping others who had suffered similar neurological damage, using my own experience to refine the technology.